Should we just do a round of applause to start this one off?
We should do a round of applause.
It's a trail.
The trail.
And
Dave.
Wow. Don't want to say I called it, but I almost did call it.
Yep.
I said we're going to shoot 4. We shot 2.
Yep. So we are back. This is what? Episode 3.
This is episode 3.
Of the Antelope Extravaganza.
Big Hunt Guys podcast.
Big Hunt Guys podcast. Yeah, it made it sound like it was the Antelope Extravaganza podcast.
Do you think that one's taken already?
That's what we'll call the series. Maybe we'll call the series that.
Yeah. I think this series so far has been what doesn't come to water. But
and
today,
how have the tides have changed?
Yep.
The tides changed.
It was kind of a cloudy start, though.
Yeah, it was foggy all morning.
Yeah, socked in, fog. You couldn't see 300 yards.
Everything was drenched. My pants were drenched.
Yeah, ground was wet. All the vegetation was
I got
wet.
my ground blind and like the screen shook it off, and it's just water flew everywhere.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was going to burn off either. I thought this might take a while, but it finally did.
Took a while though.
Yeah, it did, and then it heated up. It never got too hot. It's maybe 80 degrees. I'd say.
I think it topped out at 80 degrees today. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, tides kind of turned. Finally had a buck come in.
All right, Trail, tell us your story.
Yeah,
you go first.
Or should we lead off with the downside and then bring the positivity up at the end?
Okay.
Yeah, I want to make sure these listeners listen the whole way.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
What's the downside?
Yeah. What's the downside, dude?
That I stalked around and didn't have an antelope to shoot all day.
What did you and Neville do?
We stalked all day.
We stalked all day. So
Did you start off with the blind?
Nope. We literally got over to our spot where our blinds are and instantly spotted a buck. So I hopped out. Neville looped all the way around up on top. I don't know if you can call it up on top, just a little hill. Mm-hmm. And I got in position. He busted up the moo cow decoy. That antelope I was stalking locked eyes on that thing and gave me enough time to sneak a little bit, belly crawl for a long time, and I was soaked. Like you said, like the dew this morning, I was constantly taking my left hand and like having to dry it off. Because every time I hold my bow, it was slick. Wow. So I'm sitting there belly crawling up. The antelope's locked on that moo cow, but unfortunately, it hated everything about that cow decoy. Just absolutely was not liking it.
I did think you were getting pretty close.
I was.
Because I'd glass it, and I could see Brady coming from the left, and this antelope was just staring at me.
Yeah. So it was really good. He drew the attention, but the antelope started to make that little kazoo sound, and I was like, why? You were like maybe 1,000 yards away.
Yeah.
You were far away.
How
It's
far
not
were
like,
you?
I got to, I think it was 114. And the antelope was totally looking away the whole time, had that attention drawn on that cow, but it just hated it. And all of a sudden, the antelope just ran away. And then I doubled back down, stalked it again, got to 150, and then I was still kind of looking at the cow. Never saw me the whole time.
They seem to like that 120 to 150 range.
Yeah.
From any topography or objects.
Yep.
Yeah, it was weird. I saw a group today with probably 15 black Angus walk right by, 15 yards.
I think that decoy sucks. When you
don't
look
like
at
Bessie?
it doesn't. I don't know if it really looks like a cow.
Well, let's be fair. I put up the antelope decoy today, and I had the same result.
Yeah.
Really?
They ran the other way. Yeah.
How many stocks do you think we got, though, Neville, total?
I probably went on 5 or 6.
Yeah, I went on, 2?
You went on more than 2.
I let you do a lot. I don't think I went on 2.
2 or 3.
Yeah, maybe 3.
You guys got after it then today.
We were seeing a lot of bucks.
Yeah. At one point, though, I got to what I think was maybe like 82 yards on a buck. Perfect position. We glassed him from across the canyon, did the old rangefinder tool trick, marked where I thought the buck was based on the yardage. We looped all the way around, came in up and over him, and then I could see he had got up, he was bedded, and started working down his little finger, so I looped back around again, got above, and luckily it was one of those situations where it's finally like a slight cliff, and like animals right down below me. And I just like walked up to this edge of the cliff. I was like, there's no way it's going to keep working. Kept going further and further. I'm like, I'm going to be right on top of this thing. All of a sudden I could see his little horn sticking up. So I ranged beyond him, and it was like 94, 96 yards. I was like, well, he's pretty much closer than that. I didn't want to like lean up further to him to see me, so I just ranged behind him. And I snuck up a little bit, and all these does to my right, they were like, again, 600 yards away, a big pile of does. They saw me, and they were making all their noise. And all of a sudden these does started running off. This buck just takes off and starts chasing after those does. And I was like, my gosh, I'm that close on a
They're really hard to get to full draw on.
Yeah.
Spot and stock. I mean, I've found a number of times that like you can get within range, but to actually get your limbs bent back is pretty damn tough.
Yeah. I was so close
Yeah.
to being able to draw back and get like a little bit yards further. And the buck would have walked a little bit closer to me, and it would have been perfect. 'Cause there's a little like cut in the bank, and I was like,
Gotcha.
oh my gosh, it would have been.
There's
ideal.
not many animals that are harder to spot and stalk with bow. I
Mhm.
don't think.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
There's probably some pretty good arguments to be made, but
Maybe coos deer.
maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Smaller target.
They
Yeah.
are tough.
Yeah, they are really skittish.
That 100-yard barrier,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
just getting under 100 yards.
You had a lot of awesome stocks today, Neville, too.
Ugh,
Neville's a
shit.
good stalker.
Yeah.
It's
He was belly
close.
crawling through that,
Neville's
what,
a
that
ninja?
ant mound you
Yeah,
ran into?
Neville is a ninja.
Yeah. And we're in this one place that kept, it's like kind of bluffy, cliffy, and I kept coming from the bottom, and they'd bed like towards the top of it. But
The thing I've noticed about Neville is that he's really good about not forcing things. So if he gets to a point where, you know, it's either just keep going and hope for the best, or you know what, reassess and back out and take another direction. I've seen him multiple times back out. I mean, crawl the same way he just crawled to go back around and get a better
Yeah.
angle. And I don't think a lot of people have, I myself included, a lot of times I don't have that much patience. I just
Yeah.
try to force it, you know, and hope for the best. When in reality, that's not the case. Never works.
Yeah, it doesn't work very often.
yeah,
for sure.
patience starts to wear off towards the end, though. You're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's hard.
No, we had some good close calls. The second to last stock I went on was doing the same thing, coming from the bottom. Saw him. He's like 100 yards away, and I could just see his horns over the grass. And the plan was like, if I couldn't get any closer, I was gonna have Brady like pop over the hill, and just like flash his cow decoys, so then he'd stand up and look. I'm just belly crawling up. I get up. I'm like, God, I have to be like right on top of this thing. And I just like kind of slowly peek my head up. And this thing is way up the hill. And I can see him walking. He like, somehow there's 10 does that came out of
I
nowhere.
don't know where those does came from.
And Brady's sitting right here in the truck. And these does are just walking. And Brady's just like glassing. I'm like, oh my God, these things are going to walk right by him. Then one goes like through the cut, looks up at Brady, runs off.
It actually walked a little bit and bedded 110 yards away from my truck.
Yeah, because
And I was outside. I had my bow sitting there, so I was like, wow, I might actually get a shot at a buck if he comes up and over.
Yeah, and then they all just started filtering through. And then like all the does would like go through. They'd see you, run. And then the buck was the last one, I thought.
Yeah.
For my angle, too, I was like, oh, this is like a 20-yard shot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think that was hard, too, because we both agreed. I don't know what time it was. Let's say it was like 2:15. At 2:15, I was going to take the decoy and move up that hill. And then when I saw you, how slow, I could see your top of your head. And I was like, you were moving so slow, it looked like you were belly crawling. So at that point, I was like, I don't think I should go to the decoy because I think he's probably close range. I didn't want to spook anything. So I never put the decoy up to like draw their attention. Hindsight, maybe I still should have, but I thought you were so close. And I didn't agree to our 3:15 time.
I think he already got up.
Yeah.
I think he saw those does coming. I think he got up and went and hung out with them. Because then how far did the buck come by you?
He was like 140, 150. But yeah.
The old 140, 150.
That's
always.
about all of them. Have a good stock. Get
I
to
don't need a
100 yards.
rangefinder anymore.
You just know it's going to be 150.
Right.
That is exactly right.
Fun day though. Sounds like.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, yeah, it was a riot. We put on so many stocks.
It's fun doing that,
Yeah.
especially since you know that like if and when it fails,
On to
give
the
you
next.
30 more minutes, find
Yep.
another one.
We're literally just doing this loop. We just
Yeah,
did
we
a
had this-
circle.
You stalk the same buck twice.
Oh, yeah. Every
I
time we come
wonder.
back, they'd be in the exact same spot again.
And
They
they're
just wanted
like,
to be
"Oh
there."
man, I know all
These
about
guys are
this."
like, wow, here comes these morons again,
Yep.
chasing me around.
They humbled us quite a
Then
bit.
Brady was thinking, he's like, well, they've probably run so much today, they got to be thirsty tomorrow.
Yeah. So they're like,
Maybe a
saying,
little dehydrated.
it's part of a bigger plan.
Yeah.
Run them hard today, make them thirsty for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I like it.
But yeah, then towards the end of the day, we got the best text you can always receive from our boy Dave Brinker over here.
Nope.
Shot one, he said.
I shot my mom, I thought. Or no.
No, that was later.
I was like, what?
The fat finger.
Fat finger
fat
to
finger.
text. Yeah, I spot and I didn't even see an antelope. It was foggy this morning, Dewey. We already talked about that, but I didn't. I was at 0 until like don't remember what time it was, 9?
Really?
I could not find an antelope anywhere. Then the fog lifted, and in the normal spots that I've been going the last couple of days, there was 0. At least I couldn't see him. So I decided to go look at some different country, and I went out to this new spot and put my binos up, and probably the biggest buck I've seen on the entire trip. All by himself out in the middle of nowhere, and it looked like he was like beelining to a water source, and there was a way that I could get over there before he got there. So I went over there, and I actually just kind of made a little makeshift blind by this water source and waited for him. Nothing happened, and pretty soon I peeked, because that's what I do, and he was still like 500 yards away. So I actually, because I didn't want to waste my entire day there, I tried the old antelope decoy.
Oh.
And let me tell you what, it did not work wonders.
They do not like decoys over here
No,
in this
they
area.
don't.
He ran as soon as I put it up. And then, so I backed out of there, and I actually went to on a high point to where I could see where he went. And he got a doe, and they actually went and bedded in a really nice spot. And I made like a half-mile loop, came up over the top of him. The wind it was right when the fog was just lifting, and the wind was still trying to figure out what it wanted to do. So it was a little frustrating, because I got right above him at like, what did I tell you it was, 68 or 69 yards or something like that. And I was put an arrow on the string, was going to confirm the range, and the wind was just going like this, and pretty soon I hear the kazoo, and I see them. So that was stock number 1, and then I had like a midday stock that I got 150 on a buck that was just feeding up the valley here. And then there's been this buck I've seen all 3 days, bedded in the same spot almost every day. Yesterday I tried stalking him twice, and every time I got over there I realized there's no way to get close to him, so I'd end up walking back to my truck, or whatever you want to call my Jeep here.
Old Blue.
The compass.
We should have parked this
But
thing
today-
right in the back of us.
Yeah.
Today he was bedded a little bit closer to the ridge, and I thought, I'm going to try it one more time. Like I measured it with the range-finding tool. I did all the things, and I got over there, and I had the spot where he was wrong. He was still 126 yards or something from the closest I could. But then I found a little spot where I could belly crawl around and try to get to his level, and then try to side hill over to him. So I spent 2 hours with my shoes off,
Oh, gosh.
like butt crawling through cactus. That's why I have cactus all over.
Yeah.
And I got down there, and I literally only cut 30 yards off. He was still 100 yards.
Oh, no.
Anyways, long story short, I busted them. But while I was there, I glassed over at a water hole that you guys that we have a blind on, and I could see antelope in the valley behind them, like 500 yards behind the blind. And I thought, well, I got nothing better to do. Maybe I'll go over there and sit the blind. So I went over there, and I got out of the old compass, and they had already gone like halfway to the water by the time I got there.
They moved so fast.
Yeah, and there was
It's
no way I
crazy.
could get in the blind. So the only option was to figure out a way to get as close as I could to the water without being in the blind. And actually it worked out pretty good, because the wind was a little screwed up if I'd have been in the blind. So I snuck over to the other side of the water and kind of hid in the bushes. There was 2 trees with some shade, and I just laid down in this tall green grass. And I just sat there for like an hour and 45 minutes watching these things. And finally it's funny, you can watch them. One doe commits and starts trotting,
Yeah.
and then the whole herd lines up. And here they come. And the water hole's 30 yards from this grass I'm hiding in. And one by one, all the does water, and I just keep laying down in the grass. And there's 2 bucks with them, one small buck and one good buck. But he was all the way in the back, so I knew I had to let all the does go through first without getting picked out. Because I'm not in a blind. I'm like hiding in grass under 2.
So you're still laying down at this point
Yes,
the whole time.
the only 2 trees I've seen all week. I'm laying under them in the grass. And a couple times the does kind of looked over at me. And I mean, you could see me.
Yeah.
But then they're like,
Yep.
stick tree. And pretty soon the bigger buck comes down the hill, and all the does leave, which is awesome, obviously, to get your bow drawn. And I was worried about having to try to find a hole to shoot through him. And that buck just comes and buries his head in the water at 33 yards. And when I drew, my arrow tinked on something. I don't know if it was my rest or something. Because I had to pick it up out of the grass, and I moved it, and it tinked. Anyways, him and the small buck just look at me, and I drew, and I shot, and the shot felt good, but he did whirl a little bit, and I could tell the arrow went in kind of where I wanted it to, but when he whirled, it created a little bit of an more of a quartering to.
Yep.
And it was close enough to dark where I decided that I watched him go out there and lay down, but I didn't think it was a great idea to push it.
Push
tonight. Yeah. So
Better to be safe.
So we'll be back tomorrow. We'll go find him.
back
Oh yeah.
first thing in the morning
Find him
to
Thursday
get
in the
him.
morning. He'll be right there.
Yeah, he'll be
Good as
right
a
there.
doornail.
But yeah, it was an eventful day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. What time was it that you shot it?
I don't remember. The
'Cause
whole day's a blur.
What time did he text us? It was like 6.
It was late. Super late.
It probably came in at
I didn't think it
5:30.
was that late.
Let's see.
I thought it was like 5 maybe.
No, I think I shot it at 5:45.
Okay. I didn't think it was too late. Yeah.
Oh, that was the text he said. He said, "We're leaving mom. We are leaving mom tonight." Bye, Mom.
But
Let
and
her
then I got the text that I loved to get from Trail, including a explicit word.
Yeah.
BBD.
Yeah, I shot a buck.
Congrats, Trail.
Is that what you were trying to do?
Yeah.
I thought you were just trying to read books.
Yeah,
with
I
the
was.
water.
I did read a lot of a book today. I read.
The thing
read
the
quite a
audience should
bit.
know is that even though it was foggy this morning, after the fog, the weather changed back to normal weather. Like it
Yeah.
was clear
Hot,
and sunny
dry,
and
yeah.
hot and dry with no thunderstorms or clouds all day. And it seems like that switch that makes them want to drink
Yep.
got switched on tonight again.
Yeah. Clear skies, no wind, calm, direct sunlight. So
The weather that we needed previous few
3 days
days.
ago.
yeah. Yeah, so I set the blind. Got in there. I'd left my rangefinder last night in the blind.
What
so
else
there was-
did you leave this morning?
Oh, yeah. I got out of the truck and
Burned.
left my arrows.
Dropped him off.
Yeah.
Literally
I got-
almost were.
I got in the blind and I sat down and I looked and I was like, oh man. And so I pulled out my phone and I was like almost so embarrassed. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I just won't even text him. Maybe I'll just let it ride and just spend the day in the blind filming antelope and taking pictures. But I shot Neville a text and said, hey, I forgot my arrows in the truck. Just leave them and I'll hike down the road and get them. But those guys were nice enough to bring him back. But yeah, I was pretty embarrassed.
Trail was trying to wreck Neville and I's whole morning. That's what
pretty
his goal
embarrassed.
was. Yeah.
I think that was his goal.
His goal was, to
Yeah.
make us late to our hunting spot.
I'd
Yeah, I
open
got my
and-
arrows back and then climbed in the blind and just pretty uneventful day for the most part. I saw a few antelope here and there just out in the valley and then.
Could you even see that far past your blind this morning with the fog?
No, I couldn't see probably more than 300 yards for
Yeah.
a long time, which is okay because I figured you guys were having the same experience somewhere else, you know.
Right.
Yeah, we were all doing the same thing.
Everybody was kind of socked in the
There was
fog.
no good option for that.
Yep. But I think about the time I got the text message from Dave that he'd shot a buck, I started looking out in the valley and I could see one buck with 7 or 8 does. And he was just kind of working the valley, but I could see he was kind of working my way. And I just kept watching and, you know, it was slow. And I've never had a buck come into water late. Like typically if they come in, they're going to come in from like 11 to 5. You know,
Mhm.
I've never had one come in like that traditional, like an elk wood or a mule deer where like,
Mhm.
you know, right at dark.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't real optimistic that he was going to make the trip because, you know, the sun was getting low in the sky. And he kind of dipped below the hill. And I did see him go underneath the fence, which was between, you know, him and where my water hole was. So, you know, I thought, well, he's committed to something because he wouldn't have crossed that fence otherwise, you know. So I'm going to the fence. And, you know, it was probably 5 minutes after sundown. And I did pick up my bow. I had my bow in my hand, hand on the release just in case something came in. But I'd packed up all my stuff and just looked out the blind, and straight away on the horizon I could see this buck, and he was standing profile, and he paused for maybe 5 or 10 seconds, just looked around, and then he came on a full trot. And
Thirsty.
yeah, thirsty. And I had the tank, and then just beyond the tank, maybe 20 yards, there's like a natural, little pond, right? That's open, not a tank. And I kind of anticipated the antelope going to it because I thought, it's the more natural of the two. The other one's a metal tank, but he ran straight to that metal tank. I mean, did not hesitate at all. Dropped his head right in the water. As soon as he dropped his head in the water, I came to full draw, kind of anticipating that maybe he might, see me, or, I just kind of weighed him out. And usually antelope, when I've shot them over water, they don't drink that long. They take a few drinks, and then when they pull up their head to leave, I mean, they're gone, right? But he drank for probably a minute and a half, and I was at full draw for a really long time. And I was getting to the point where I was like, I'm either going to have to let down or figure something out. So I just started making kissing noises at him. And he picked his head up and looked at me. It was 25 yards, so I shot him frontal. And I couldn't have drawn an X on his chest any better. Just dead X'd him.
Yeah, that arrow went all the way through.
Yeah, arrow went complete length of his body, so through his chest and out the back end.
Right out the rear.
Full penetration.
Yes, indeed.
Did a pretty good blood
That's so
trail,
awesome,
too.
man. Well, I got to say,
Yeah.
I admire your patience. You have stayed at that water. Well, maybe not that one, but at water
Yeah.
for 3 full days now.
Yeah. Two
with
full days.
No action, basically.
Yeah.
No drinks.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of patience that I don't have.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I think spot and stock's awesome. I think every hunter, this is a lesson for me, and I think everybody kind of has to play to their strengths, and I'm a pretty patient guy. Like, I don't mind waiting. I can wait, I don't mind it. I like the solitude. I like the time to think. I read. I don't mind that at all. And so I'm a pretty patient hunter. So, I think play to your strengths. If you're good at spot and stock, you're good at covering country, you're super, meticulous, and you can make those stocks count, then I think that's awesome. But like for me, I don't mind hunting water. I actually really like it.
I definitely like it when they're coming in.
Yeah, when they're coming in, it's a lot of fun. I don't mind it when they're not, Just takes one.
That's right. Just takes one.
I tell Neville that all the time. I never think it's going to happen, and then it does in a blink of an eye, just like it did tonight. So
yeah. And really, if you think about it, as long as you're patient, you don't need 100 to come in.
Nope,
You just need
just
one
one.
because the shot's so good. And spot and stock, we were talking about this earlier. I'm sure there's guys out there that are like rock stars at it, but I think it's like you might get in shooting range like 1 out of 10 ish if you're a
Right.
decent hunter.
Yeah.
But if you average it out over time, there's a pretty good argument that you probably would have been better off just sitting water anyway, because by the time the guy that's spot and stalking gets one, more than likely you're going to have that great shot, 25-yard shot out of the water happen. It's just if you can deal with all the downtime. That's where I struggle.
Yeah.
Because I like going out. I actually have really enjoyed learning this country. Like
Sure.
I've seen a lot of it. I've got to know a couple of different bucks. But I've also
You've stalked a lot of bucks. Let's just be honest here.
I have
Touched a lot of them.
Got to know.
Old Blue has traveled a lot.
Old Blue's been around. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was a really, really fun night. Got back to camp. Neville made some brats. I was able to get that buck quartered out and get him hung. So,
Grab the head drill for the camera.
then we grabbed the head.
Yeah.
It's a little gruesome, right?
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
What do you mean it's gruesome?
I just lopped off the head.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I'm just sitting here staring at it.
Yeah, but he's a nice buck.
Nice buck.
Yeah, not a giant by any means, but a great, mature buck. So I was pumped with him.
Heck yeah.
Now he's hanging in the barn too.
Now it's
Sweet.
Brady and Neville's turn.
Brady and Neville, we'll get Dave's out tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah. Neville and I haven't seen a antelope hit water.
I think that's going to change tomorrow.
It's supposed to be hot tomorrow too. I think.
Mhm.
I think it's supposed to be the hottest day.
Yeah, it'll help.
Oh my god. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it was a good day though. It was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was
Fun
good
to-
to see you guys have some success.
Fun to get on the board for this year.
Yeah.
That was right. And I like antelope too.
Elk time.
They eat really well. Yeah, time to go hunt elk now.
First blood drawn, always a good one.
Yep. Well, good deal.
That is a good deal.
All right, Brady, hit him with the promo.
Wrap it up, Brady.
Brady,
with the
hit him
promo.
with the
I
promo.
was waiting for you guys to say that. It's my turn to.
Do you want me to wrap it up with the promo?
We gotta
we
we gotta go to bed.
We gotta go to bed.
We got 5 minutes.
For everyone listening, it is 11:30 at night right now.
Yeah,
too.
everyone we do these is late.
It's super late, and we have to get up again. We've been getting like 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, so just to close out, again, we appreciate if you listen to the Big Hunt Guys podcast. We do have a promo code, which is podcast.
Yep, podcast.
We're pretty simple. So the promo code is podcast. If you decide that you want to use the promo code podcast to sign up for GOHUNT Insider, which is the research platform, you get draw odds, filtering 2.0, the application strategy articles, as well as the map app and the desktop version of maps. You use that promo code, you're going to get 50 points to the GOHUNT Gear Shop, so that's good for $50. If you just want to sign up for Explorer, which is the map app portion of our website, you just need the maps for your phone, your desktop. That promo code will get you 20 points. That's $20 to the GOHUNT Gear Shop. So use that promo code podcast. No offense, Dave. We're trying to beat up on some of our other affiliates. Take the top spot for promo codes. So
that you won't have a hard time winning that for me.
So use the promo code podcast, and we'll be back again, tomorrow night with a recap. Hopefully Neville and Brady wrap it up with a couple more bucks.
2 more to go, boys.
Two more to go.
I'm feeling good.
All right.
We're really good. I'm ready to draw my bow back. Finally.
Oh my god. Hope I can do it. I haven't drawn it back in so long.
All right, guys. Catch you tomorrow.